Do you think this has given us a new form of drive, awareness, and culture to the extent that every sector, away from politics, because now even the army chief has asked all of them to declare their assets?
Yes, yes, that's you.
And even in customs as well.
When I hear this, and I ask myself, is it that the provisions of the code of conduct, as prescribed in our constitution, had not been observed? You know, these are people who ordinarily ought to have declared their assets. And now we're hearing declare your asset, which for me is a welcome development. Let's even know what these people own. Because the custom we're talking about is a cesspit of corruption. If you are a custom agent, you know what happens in custom. Even the Nigerian police that we'll talk about also today, police for me is garbage in, garbage out. It is not a profession that will attract, you know, good Nigerians. But now we're talking about EFCC. You have reformed the EFCC, or you've trained some policemen that were transferred to EFCC, and they are doing the job that they are doing. Why don't we also look at the Nigerian police and say, how do we ensure that even if you start from the special fraud unit, let's even train these people that are statutorily empowered, trained to carry out investigation on corruption. Now that we are having a new drive of declaring assets, and then also the code of conduct. I was on this program here, and a former secretary of the code of conduct said verification is a big problem for the code of conduct bureau. If you declare that you have 2 houses and ordinarily you have 10 houses, how do the code of conduct, they are understaffed?
Is it a question of empowerment?
You need
funding?
also, as you're doing this, you need also to put in the framework, the right institutions, to ensure that monitoring and enforcement is taken care of, because anybody can declare. But when there's no proper monitoring and enforcement of the rules, you can come tomorrow and declare that you have just 5 houses, or you anticipate the house that you're going to buy in a year, just like the case of Saraki. Why was it that the code of conduct was not able to ascertain or monitor what was declared at that time?
Mr. Sharma, with the onsurge now of war on corruption, which you say is not holistic, what do you think should be done to put it all together?
Basically, what we're doing now, very soon you will soon hear that EFCC is overwhelmed with all the cases. We need
is it a
to
question of recruitment?
This fight. Pardon?
Should there be more recruitment of personnel? Is it too late to recruit, or
no,
is it too early?
Late. It's not too late.
What else? Because
basically, it shouldn't be about.
1 second. Ebun talked about EFCC offices where they don't have equipment, where they use personal computers, personal stationery.
Yes.
And even the ICPC, he says they are not properly equipped enough to
by the
carry
provisions
on with
of this act. Do you know that for you to obtain a confessional statement from a suspect, it must be video recorded? But do you expect a policeman to use his money to hire a cameraman to video a suspect that is taking a statement from? You need to equip them. Now it's easy and cheaper to buy computer now, laptops. But you find out that most of these officials use personal laptops to carry out official function. In some cases, I've seen cases where reports, a police report after investigation is typed at a business center close to the police station.
How can the police?
You know, so we need to look at it. It shouldn't be a Buhari fight. It should be a Nigerian fight. We have not yet made it a Nigerian fight. There are institutions that had not been working. All of a sudden, EFCC is renewed. We also need to empower all of the other agencies, renew them, revigorate them, so that this fight will be holistic.
In other words, how can we make it more holistic? How can we make it everybody's fight? Because if we talk about the bad state of our power sector, or the roads, or infrastructure, or even in the health sector,
and now,
is as a result of corruption. So how can we all feel it and say, this is our fight? We've
started well. It's not a 100-meter dash. It's a marathon. It's not something you can eradicate in 4 years. And so, first and foremost, in some years ago when ACN was in opposition, it was one of the, ACN,
okay,
later APC. One of their focal point for campaign was practicing true and fiscal federalism, that the center is too bogus, that the center takes so much and does little. Now that they are in power, it is time for us to begin to look at these things. Can the center, in all honesty, handle corruption in the entire country? The answer is no. Let's begin to empower, decentralize from the local government so that we can begin to tackle those small corruption from the grassroots level to the top, and then also be able to give governance in return to the people from the grassroots level. And also the policing, we're talking about investigating arm, and then the judiciary that we're talking about. We should also begin to look at the powers of our magistrate courts, and then the prosecuting powers of the police at the magistrate court level. How many convictions? You find out the investigations are wishy-washy. Corruption is not just residual in high places.
I'll close a moment with Liboros Oshoma. You still haven't been able to tell us what we can do to make it everybody's business.
That's what I'm basically telling you. You can't do everything from the center. You need to, the institutions from the center, from the local government level to the center, you need to strengthen them. And we need to ensure that all of these institutions are empowered. And also, the institutions that are to monitor these institutions also should be strengthened and empowered. Look at the judges. We talk about judges that are corrupt. There's no hiding place for judges that are corrupt. Don't tell me that judges are corrupt. I want to see that the NJC is properly restructured, because 90% of the appointments of members of the NJC are appointed by just one man, and that's the Chief Justice of the Federation. And so, if you have a situation where the Chief Justice of the Federation is a person of a questionable character, you're going to have people of like minds in that body. And these are people who ordinarily should be disciplined judges all over the country. And so you need to ensure that if at the local level, at the local government level, the NJC also is replicated, and there are people who are on ground to monitor the magistrate at that local level. And at the state level, the same thing. By so doing, I don't need to consistently wait for a president who will fight corruption. Because at the local government level, there are institutions that immediately these acts are committed, the processes are activated. And then also at the state level, the same thing is replicated.
So you support the autonomy, financial autonomy of the judiciary?
Yes, I support it completely. But also, in granting them autonomy, there's also should be a unit. The NJC should also be strengthened to ensure that the process of monitoring and enforcing rules against them are in place. Because like they say, power corrupt and absolute power corrupt, absolutely. And so that's why we need to ensure that when you send a man on an errand, there's somebody at the other end and there's somebody here waiting to ensure that that errand is properly carried out. And lastly, we don't need to consistently look at the body language of a Mr. President or a governor to know whether to arrest somebody or not. Somebody's arrested, the next thing he places a call to the IG, and the IG is calling the commissioner. It shouldn't be.
Liboros Oshoma, legal practitioner, thank you for coming on the program.
My pleasure.
Well, it's a wrap on the show. So long, all through the week. Many thanks for being there for us. I'm Sulaiman Alede.
We can't thank you enough. Thank you. Malpe Ogun is my name.
I'm Neil Tag. We have a good weekend.
See you again.